Within the Netflix series Wednesday, we were introduced to a wide array of different people which are referred to as outcasts in Jericho. Many of them resided within Nevermore, the academy that Wednesday attended following being expelled from her previous schools. With many different powers and abilities being within many of the different types of people, I thought I'd break down and explain all of the powers that made an appearance in Season 1 of the show, and if we can expect any more in Season 2. So let's get into it. Here is Wednesday Every Power Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Many of the different characters in the show contain different powers and abilities due to the type of person that they were and the heritage that they were tied to. For example, there were werewolves, shapeshifters, sirens, and many more. I'm going to break this video down by the main characters and the abilities that they held. Wednesday's power. Wednesday was the main character in the show, and despite holding just one specific power, which was the use of visions, she also held many others. She was able to see into the future whenever she touched something of importance that could be connected to what was going to happen. For example, when she was close to Tyler, she saw that he was in fact the main villain and the Hyde, and also when she was able to see when something fatal was about to happen to a person. It would give her the upper hand and was extremely useful when it came to needing to know what was ahead. Outside of this, she was also trained in martial arts as she was good at fighting off the people that would come in her way. She was also a smart, intellectual individual who was able to crack cases and think outside of the box. Bianca's power. Bianca descended from a group of sirens, meaning that she held the traditional powers that a siren did. Traditionally, sirens were known to lure sailors to their death by using their voice and luring them in and killing them. However, it seems to be slightly different in this show. We know that Bianca has a great voice due to her being the lead in the vocal group at Nevermore, and we also know that she has the power to influence people with the words that she says, as we saw her use it on Tyler at the end of the season. We didn't see her exhibit them that much in the show, but we saw how powerful they can be due to her mother recruiting vulnerable people into the mourning songs, a cult where it seems as though the individuals are taken advantage of. We know that Bianca's powers are rendered useless all the time that she has the chain around her neck, so that's one thing that stops her from using it all of the time. Enid's power. Enid descended from a group of werewolves. We saw that she struggled to turn into a fully fledged werewolf throughout the season, but by the end of it, on a full blood moon she transformed, and we saw just how powerful she was, putting up a good fight against the Hyde. It seemed as though she could tap into elements of the ability before fully transforming, meaning her nails would turn extremely long and resembled claws. However now, as a fully formed werewolf, she'll now be able to turn into a werewolf and her physical appearance will change. She'll get sharp teeth, agility, speed, and strength, something that would be fearful to come up against. The Hyde. Tyler descended from a group of monsters which were known as Hydes. This was from his mother's side and not his father's. This originated from the story of Jekyll and Hyde. Hyde was the contrasting side to the normal Jekyll. In Wednesday, it was exhibited as a monster that had to be activated by a master, and once initiated, it would swear loyalty to the master and carry out anything that it commanded. As we saw, the Hyde in Tyler's case can be several feet tall, extremely large, have gouging eyes, sharp teeth, strength, agility, long sharp claws, and be extremely hard to defeat. Even in the final episode of the season, once he was captured, we saw that he wasn't able to be restrained because it looked as though he was going to break out of the van and escape. So there's still some obscurity on how to stop one of these. Xavier's power. Xavier had an interesting power. We didn't see too much of it used in dangerous situations, but we saw it exhibited in class and in his shed where he painted. Xavier has the ability to turn anything that he draws into real life, as we saw with the spider, but we also heard that he had dreams and visions that often appeared to be real, similar to Wednesday's. He dreamt of the Hyde's location, the gateway that led to it, and also its appearance. He painted how he viewed the Hyde from his dream, and it came out and slashed him with its claws. So we know that if used in the right way, it can be extremely useful and a dangerous power. We've not seen its full potential in the show, so I'll be intrigued to see what damage it can cause exactly. Eugene's power. Eugene's power was an interesting one. We saw in the show that he had an interest in bees. He enjoyed keeping the bees and collecting their honey. However, it was revealed to us in the closing moments of the show that he was in fact in control of the bees and could command them to do as he pleased. It's quite a good power to hold. We only saw it get utilized at the end when he commanded them to swarm Miss Thornhill, aka Laurel. So I'll be interested to see how powerful it can be in season 2 of the show, and how many he can summon at once, as I feel a swarm of bees is enough to make anybody fearful of them. Ajax's power. Ajax was a character that we didn't get to see that much of, but what we did see of his power, it did look like it could be fatal. He embodied a similar power to that of Medusa, where he can gaze upon somebody and turn them to stone. He's a Gorgon. His hair being made of snakes is something that's the source of his power, hence why we saw him with a hat on most of the time. And the one time that we saw him with it off, he looked at himself in the mirror and he ended up turning himself into stone, showing that he's not immune to his own gaze. The power that he holds only renders the individuals that lock eye contact into stone for a short period of time, and it then releases them unharmed. So whilst it's a fearful thought being trapped within stone, it's only for a short period of time. Principal Weems' power. Principal Weems was a character that I feel I wished that we got to see more of when it came to witnessing her power. We only really got to see it when she was covering up the death of Rowan to protect the school, and also in the final episode where she changed into Tyler in order to find out the truth about Miss Thornhill. I feel there was a dark past behind the character, and I would have loved to have delved deeper into it. Principal Weems had the ability to be able to morph into any person that she wanted to, and then revert back to her original form when she pleased. She embodied their voice, mannerisms, and looks when she changed. It's a power that can definitely be used to an individual's advantage if used in the right way, and I feel Weems did use it for that, but we just didn't get to see enough of it. Yoko. Yoko was a character that we didn't get to see that much of in the show. She was only really spoken about, but the ability that she held was the fact that she descended from a group of vampires, hence why she wore dark glasses, most likely to avoid the harsh brightness from the sun. We didn't get to see her use her abilities in the show, but I imagine we will see her exhibit her powers in the next season. Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester is one of the main characters, and we saw him use his powers in small amounts in the show, but the main thing that he can do is generate electricity. We saw this occur when he shocked Tyler and also when he was approaching Wednesday. He caused the electricity to appear between his hands. There are many different species that hold many different abilities in this show, and it felt like we only really just touched the surface when it came to delving into the level of strength, how they can use them to their advantage, and how they can be used for the greater good. I'm looking forward to seeing them being used a lot more in the next season of the show. So, there you have it. Wednesday, Every Power Explained. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions, and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What was your favourite power? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.